Will America bully India into using dollar and sanction it for their attempts to proceed with de-dollarization effectively? Let's find out together. Namaste, everyone. Welcome back to my channel called Zuzanareacts, where I learn all things powered with your help, and I just share my Slovak Central European point of view. De-dollarization has been a topic that has been out there for a while now. It looks like it's happening, but is it going to positively impact India and the world for that matter? Let's find out together. Let's get into it.
Our next story is also from the US. It's about their former president, Donald Trump. He's been quite busy lately with a slew of legal cases. Trump has been accused of everything, really, from election interference to paying hush money to an adult actor. But while he deals with all these legal problems, his advisors are already planning ahead. They're formulating policies for when Trump returns to the White House. That is their hope. And a new report tells us what they're working on. Trump's advisors want to punish some countries that want to de-dollarize. We've spoken to you about this before, about de-dollarization, but here's a brief overview. Today, the US dollar is the most important currency in the world. It's the world's reserve currency, the currency all countries hoard to protect national wealth. About 60% of the world has savings tied to the US dollar. These are called dollar-dominated assets. And what does this mean in practical terms? It means that the US has unreasonable control over the world's economy. We trade with the US dollar, we save using the US dollar, and we're all forced to track the US dollar to make sure we don't suffer because of American policies. It's a system where we depend on the US for our own financial stability. So what's the solution? De-dollarization, moving away from this excessive dependence on the US dollar. Some countries have been trying to do this or thinking about it, making small but defiant moves. Like India using the rupee to buy oil from the UAE, or Argentina using the Chinese yuan to pay off a loan. These were moves to reduce dependency on the US dollar and help currencies from the global south rise in value. This is de-dollarization in a nutshell. But obviously, the US does not like that. If de-dollarization begins in earnest, the US will start losing its clout, and Donald Trump is not a fan of that idea. He gave an interview recently. I'll quote from what he said. "I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country." It doesn't get clearer than that. Trump wants everyone to stay hooked to the US dollar, and now his advisors are working to make this possible. They're planning punishments and sanctions for anyone who does not toe this line. And India is in their crosshairs. Along with Brazil, Russia, China, and South Africa, the BRICS countries basically, they have caught Trump's eye. His advisors are planning to target BRICS for what was discussed last year during the last summit in South Africa. That was last August. The BRICS countries spoke about creating a new common currency, a currency to be used among BRICS member nations for trade and investments. This new BRICS currency was supposed to be a hedge, a protection against the US dollar. It sounds like a smart, pragmatic move, a way to defend national interest. It's an interesting idea, but it's nowhere near becoming a reality. There are some very obvious security issues like sharing a currency with China, so the BRICS currency is still a pipe dream. Despite this, it seems Trump and his team feel threatened, as though this BRICS currency is an attack on the supremacy of the US dollar. So it seems they're planning a counterstrike. And what would that look like? The options include export controls, currency manipulation charges, and tariffs. Let me explain. Export controls restrict free trade. They prevent a country from accessing some goods or technologies, like what the US does with China. It prevents Beijing from accessing advanced computer chips. That's an export control. Trump may expand export controls to countries that want de-dollarization. Then we have currency manipulation charges. They're a more subtle attack. A country can be branded a currency manipulator. It will affect your reputation. Your currency may be shunned and it could lose value. Then we come to tariffs. The simplest form of punishment. Trump may put tariffs on goods from a country, like an additional import tax. It makes an imported product more expensive rather, for American customers if there's more tariff, meaning the demand will go down because the product has become more expensive and the country's trade suffers. Trump and his advisors want to impose these punishments on BRICS countries for daring to try and replace the dollar. It's pure mob behavior. Use our currency or else. India may be spared, though. New Delhi and Washington are close allies after all. But this whole episode is distasteful. You cannot force anyone to depend on you. You have to let them make their own way. If not, you aren't an ally. You're just a big bully.
So what do you guys think? Will the de-dollarization and the efforts of the Americans negatively impact India? I would love to know your point of view. Obviously, we are a couple of months away from American election. I don't know on which exact date in November it's being run, but I guess the statement from Trump administration is rather clear. They do want dependency. I feel like if the de-dollarization, which I believe is already happening, will really negatively impact them, but also all the countries that are connected to that system. So pretty much everyone. So I think it has to be, and I wonder for those of you that are in finance or trades, I'd love to know what your point of view on this is, because I feel like it will not only negatively impact like all the countries that directly, like I think that the European countries are more dependent on US dollars perhaps than India, but I believe India does still trade within US dollars, so it would have also perhaps a negative impact. Do let me know. I'm not well versed in that type of a topic, but it's as she said, like it's a bullying. But we've all known that from the US, they were able to be smart about it, assert the power, and now we basically, it's America and we live in their world, if you like it or not. But I guess that we are living that reality. But also the reality is that the BRICS is trying to push for their own currency. As she alerted to the fact that China is a thing to question perhaps. And I would wonder if you foresee that BRICS is able to actually push forward with their own currency, considering China. I think maybe out of all countries of the BRICS, perhaps China is the one that it's least to be trusted. So I would just be very curious to see what your views are on this. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video with me. If you did enjoy it, please give thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, please do take care. I'm sending lots of love. Bye-bye.